The following program period has been purchased by RHH Consultants Limited. Content does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of CHCH TV 11.
RHH Consultants Limited, one of Canada's top consulting firms, has been presenting seminars across Canada for over 8 years. Thousands and thousands of Canadians like yourself have gained special insight into business and real estate investing. Now make sure you have a pen and paper to take notes and get ready to spend an exciting half hour with one of Canada's leading real estate experts, real estate investor and lecturer, Raymond Aaron, as he presents How to Really Make It in Real Estate.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Raymond Aaron. I'm a Canadian. I have lived in Canada all my life, and for the last 12 years, I've been buying real estate in Canada without taking any money out of my own pocket. For the last 7 years, I've been teaching fellow Canadians like yourself exactly how I do that. Is that what you came here to learn about? Yeah. Good. How many people here want to learn how to make $500,000 tax-free? Good, good. How many people here want to learn how to make a fast buck overnight? Good, you people leave the room. I don't know how to make a fast buck overnight. I do not teach how to make a fast buck overnight. This has nothing to do with getting rich quick. We are not about getting rich quick in here. That's not what we do. What I did for the last 12 years in Canada is exactly what I recommend you do. And this is what I did. I kept my 9-to-5 job. It did not create wealth. You've all tried that. It doesn't work. But it does put food on the table, and it's a terrific front for a credit rating. What I did in 30 minutes every day, in lunch hours, evenings, weekends, coffee breaks, is I spent that 30 minutes quietly and carefully and cautiously looking for good real estate. It took me a while to figure out what good real estate was, took me a while to figure out how to manage properties impeccably, but I spent my time learning and looking, and over the years I found that I was easily able to pick up not hundreds of properties a year and not dozens of properties a year, but rather 3 or 4, 5 or 6, that's all. And not huge properties, not gigantic tracts of land, not towering apartment buildings, but rather little properties, small residential rental income properties, duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, eightplexes, anything that doesn't have too many stairs and no elevator. I bought them. I bought a few a year, that's all. I didn't make a big scene of it. I kept my job, and part-time, I bought a few properties a year. I took care of them myself initially, but as soon as I could afford to, I had other people take care of those properties, and I learned how to get other people to take care of my properties as lovingly as if I were taking care of them myself. When you try to take care of a lot of properties yourself, you will quickly realize that you're on the brink of losing your job, your family, and your sanity. That's what I did, ladies and gentlemen, and it worked. Within 5 to 8 years, I had more money than I ever dreamed possible. And my recommendation to you is simply that. Keep your job, spend 30 minutes a day quietly and slowly looking for real estate, small residential rental income properties. I suggest to you that if real estate does over the next 5 to 8 years what it has been doing for the last several centuries, you will have more money than you ever dreamed possible within 5 to 8 years or at the peak of the next boom. Is that what you're interested in learning about? Good. That's what we're going to be doing. Let's get started. There are 2 boxes that people live in. One is the stay broke box, one is the stay rich box. People who live in the stay broke box stay broke all the time. That's us. We know exactly how to stay broke. All of our neighbors know exactly how to stay broke. We know how to stay broke so perfectly, so flawlessly, that we are broke consistently every single day without fail. We never once make a mistake and on the occasional Wednesday are wealthy. It never happens to us. Why? Why is it that we're always broke? The answer is simply this. If you are broke, ladies and gentlemen, you're wrong. Period. If you're broke, then the feelings that you have about when to invest and what to invest in are wrong. If you are broke, then the people that you go to for advisors, the sense of timing that you use, the gut feel as to what is a good investment and what is not a good investment, all that stuff doesn't work. The proof is you're broke. And if you want to know whether they're right or not, you use another method which doesn't work, and that is ask your broke neighbor. He confirms it's okay, so you keep doing it, even though it never works. Now, there's another box that some people live in. It's called the stay rich box. People who live in the stay rich box stay rich all their life, even if they occasionally fall out of it. Henry Ford is one of my mentors, one of my gurus. He was the first person ever to become a 100 millionaire. And on that day that he became a 100 millionaire and was interviewed by a reporter, he was asked, "What would you do if you lost everything?" And he said, "No problem. I'd have it all back in a few years." He'd have it all back in a few years? How many people here are more than a few years old and you're not worth $100 million? So how come? How come people who live in the stay rich box know how to stay rich all their life, and if they happen to fall out of the stay rich box, they get right back into it real fast, and people who live in the stay broke box work and work and work and work and work, and it never helps? I'll tell you why. Because you don't give up the incorrect opinions that you have. And I'm going to crash through that in the time that we have together today. I am going to start right back at the foundation, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to clean up the foundation, and once it is solid, we are then going to put some interesting tidbits of real estate esoterica on top of that. Do you understand where we're going? Good. Here we go. Let's go right down to the very basics. What is the most basic rule there is in all of creating wealth in real estate? When do you buy, when do you sell?
Buy low, sell high.
Buy low, sell high. Wonderful. Buy low, sell high. How many people know the rule buy low, sell high? I thought so. It's much more fun in here now. Good. Buy low, sell high. We all know that rule. Get on to the good stuff, Mr. Aaron. That is the good stuff. If we don't clean up the foundation, no point going any higher. My intention right now is to prove to you that you don't have a clue what buy low, sell high means. And that if any of you did know what buy low, sell high means, you'd be a multimillionaire up on the stage here with me speaking to the rest of you. I'm going to prove to you that not only do you not know what buy low, sell high means, but in fact, there is another underlying principle that you use to guide your investments, and it doesn't work, and you don't even know what the principle is. We're going to uncover it together in order to understand the difference between the stay rich box and the stay broke box. And it'll be the most senior piece of information that I will have so far told you in this program. The reason that people do not buy low and then sell high is that when the prices are low, there's a problem that keeps the prices low. And when you were a kid, you were told, avoid problems. Problems are bad. Consequently, every time you hear of a problem, you run away. How many people here remember when Lévesque was elected premier of the province of Quebec? As soon as he was elected, since his policies were anti-people and anti-business, proof is people and businesses left the province, as soon as that happened, what happened to real estate prices? They fell. They fell badly. Were prices high or low? Low. So of course there'd be lots of buyers, right? There weren't any. You say buy low, sell high, and I give you an example of a case in which prices right here in Canada were dramatically low, and you know darn well that nobody was buying. You say buy low, sell high, but you never show me any evidence that people do it. The reason they didn't is because the headlines of the paper did not say, come on guys, prices are low, buy low, sell high, make your fortune. They don't say that. They said, ooh, Lévesque is a problem. Now, I'm not saying Lévesque is a good or bad person. This is not a political lecture. I'm simply looking at it from the financial perspective. Everybody said, or enough people said, Lévesque is a problem. That problem created a drop in real estate prices, and then people did not see the low price, they saw the what? The problem, and they embraced it or ran away. Ran away. And that's the difficulty, ladies and gentlemen. If you restate it as buy problems, sell high, now you've got the real reason why it's tough for the masses to buy low and sell high. They're frightened to death of problems. They think problems are bad. Let me give you more examples. Are you interested in some more examples? How many people remember the automobile gasoline shortages in the United States? You remember that? Nobody could take long car rides, so therefore they couldn't get to Florida. Therefore, what happened to real estate prices in Florida? They plummeted. A $90,000 oceanfront property plummeted in value to $30,000. If you'd asked your neighbor back then, should I buy now in Florida? What would he have told you? No, of course not. The prices are too low. The automobile gasoline shortage cleared up. And real estate prices did not recover from 30 to 90. They recovered from 30 to 120. And if you asked your neighbor then, should you buy? What would he tell you? Well, of course you should buy now. And if you asked him what the rule is that he was following, he would say, well, buy low, sell high. Even though he wasn't following it. Do you see that? They say buy low, sell high, but they actually do something else. What they do is buy high, hope to sell higher. Over and over and over again. They always get it wrong, and it's not just in gold and it's not just in real estate, it's in every area of human investment. I've been telling you so far over and over again that it's tough to have the courage, the audacity to do the exact opposite of everything your friends are doing. That ain't easy, that's tough. Now let me tell you a story of what I do in my life. I wait till a boom in any city has already gone bust a year or so in the past. It's real easy to tell when a boom was. It was the headlines of the paper, and the president of the local real estate board makes all kinds of pronouncements that this is the biggest month the MLS board has ever had in this town. It's quite easy to tell when a boom ends because you have all that hoopla that went on behind it. Is that correct? Then you wait a year or so, and you quietly and slowly buy real estate. Vendors are all real depressed. They think real estate is never going to go up again in that city. They have the memory burning in their mind of the property values that once used to be so high and now are so low. Everybody feels bad about real estate. And you walk in and buy not hundreds, not dozens, just a few. Just the ones you really want to buy. And as you buy, everybody says, but Mr. Aaron, why are you buying now? Don't you know that real estate's such a bad investment? Don't you remember the terrible crash of just a year or two ago? Why would you do something so foolish as to buy real estate now when it's low and probably even going lower? And I say, well, I guess I'm just doing it wrong. I guess I'm just making mistakes. And I just keep buying no matter what other people say. I buy just a few a year. I never get greedy. I just go at a slow pace. And I keep buying. Next year, a few more. Next year, a few more. Next year, a few more. And guess what happens sooner or later in that city to real estate prices? What happens?
They go up.
They go up. And then they go up faster, and they go up faster, and then there's a boom. And when there's a boom, all those people who made fun of me call me up and say, Mr. Aaron, you were right. Real estate is a good investment. I want to buy some. So I say, fine, you can have all of mine.
Have you ever wondered how others have made their fortunes in real estate? Have you ever wondered, can you really buy real estate with little or nothing down? Can you really earn $500,000 tax-free? Can all this really be done in Canada? Learn the answers to these questions and much more. Join the thousands and thousands of Canadians who have gained special insight into business and real estate investing. See and hear Raymond Aaron in person at the following locations.
Tuesday, January 28th at the Chimo Hotel, Woodbine and Steele, 7:30 p.m. Wednesday, January 29th, Triumph Hotel, 2737 Keel Street, 7:30 p.m. Thursday, January 30th, Skyline Hotel, 655 Dixon Road, 7:30 p.m. These exciting free seminars on how to really make it in real estate will be presented by Raymond Aaron in person. No reservations are required. See your Toronto Star for further details.
Buy low, sell high if you have the courage to invest your money when nobody else is doing it in that commodity. That's the courage you need. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? That's not enough. If you think you have the courage to buy low, I want you to know it's even worse. You need to have even more courage to sell high. Yes, it gets even worse. Let me dramatize it for you. You take my course, and you do what I say, and you keep your job, and you spend the half hour a day required to follow my principles, and you actually do buy a few properties a year. And it actually takes you 3 or 4 years, let's say, to accumulate 10 properties. And then you open the paper one day in your town, and it says, real estate boom. You say, my gosh, it happened. What do I do when the boom comes? Well, since you took my course, let's say 5 years ago, you've forgotten. So you rush back into your library, you open it up, boom, 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 sell. Oh gosh. So you rush out, all excited, and your neighbor says, where are you going? You say, boom, boom, I own 10 properties. I gotta sell. They've gone up $50,000. I've made $500,000. I gotta sell. It says right in my notes, boom, sell. He says, what's the rush? He says, well, it says in my notes. He says, real estate's going up $10,000 a week. Take your time. You say, oh gosh, maybe I will. So you don't do anything for a week. And real estate prices go up $10,000 that week. You say $10,000 times 10 properties, I've made $100,000, more than you usually earn in a week. You get really excited. Now you've thrown away Raymond Aaron as your guru, and now you're listening to your neighbor. You go over the next weekend to your neighbor. What'll I do now? He says, the boom's heating up even more. Hold on a little longer. So you hold on longer, and that week every property goes up $15,000 each. You've made $150,000. Oh, you're so excited. Now you've forgotten about me completely, and you can't wait for the next weekend to rush to your neighbor to find out his advice. And he says to you the final coup. He says, instead of just not selling, why don't you buy a few? So you rush over to your banker's office and you say, how much equity do I have? He says, oh, $700,000-$800,000 of equity. You say, I want to borrow $500,000 and buy a $20 million apartment tower. And he says, whoa, that must be a great idea because there's a boom on now and everybody's talking about it. I know for sure it's terrific. So he loans you the money and you buy this huge property on the last day of the boom. And you lose not only the profit that you worked hard for 5 years to make, but you find yourself terribly, possibly irretrievably in debt. And as you drag yourself home that night, just before you get in your door, your neighbor looks at you over the fence and says, I knew that course wouldn't work. As much courage as you need to buy low, you need even more courage to sell high. So I didn't say this was get rich quick. I said it's 5 to 8 years. And I didn't say it's get rich easy. It's tough to have the courage to do it. And I don't want anybody accusing me of exaggerating. I'm going to choose people randomly from this audience here. Anybody, please, who has lived in your own home for 10 years, your own same home for 10 years, put your hand up. Yes, ma'am. What did you pay for your home? $16,000. $16,000. This might be good. What's it currently worth?
70.
It's worth what?
70, not that much.
17. 70. Went from, say, 15 to 70 is $55,000. She would have to have about 18 houses to be a millionaire. And by her own admission, it wasn't too good. Not hundreds, not dozens, about 18. The gentleman behind her, how much did you pay for your home, sir? 20. What's it currently worth? 130, went up 110,000, he'd have to have 9 houses to be a millionaire. I didn't make these numbers up. Someone over here, someone else had their hand up over here. Yes, the lady at the back. How much did you pay for your home, ma'am? 36, and it's currently worth?
140.
Say 40 to 140, she made $100,000. One more example. Yes, your parents. Your parents paid 45, and it's currently worth? 120. So how much is that? About $75,000. You see, I don't have to exaggerate. Real estate is so powerful, it's hard to exaggerate. The average of the people that I randomly chose is maybe $75,000. And some places in Canada, if I'd chosen 4 people randomly, it'd only be 30,000. And other places in Canada, it could be 150,000. Don't you dare say, oh, but there's people whose property values have dropped. I'm not interested in people who bought at the peak of the boom and are now sitting there with big losses. We've already covered buy low, sell high. I mean, don't bore me with people who bought in the middle of a boom and are now looking at losses. I ain't interested in that one. I'm talking about people who quietly and slowly buy a few properties a year, or even just one, as long as it's not in a boom. And you look at the type of appreciation they have. Ladies and gentlemen, real estate's going up anyways. You might as well own some. You see, ladies and gentlemen, if I was interested in just selling courses, I would say to you, oh, you got the courage now? Great, come on, take my course. It's easy, you'll be a millionaire overnight. I don't say that because I don't believe it and it ain't true. You do need the courage. There are prerequisites to creating wealth. You need to learn. You need to learn a great deal. You need to have great people around you. You need to have the courage to latch onto an idea. You need to have the persistence to ride that idea through the several years required to get there. And millionaire is just a term. It's just a target. Some of you may just want $100,000. Some of you, who knows how much you want. All I'm saying is there are some prerequisites, there are some rules, and if you're prepared to follow these new rules, you can make it, because people who do follow those rules do make it, and it ain't easy, and it ain't overnight. Did you hear that? You see, I'm not interested in having you do anything that is in the slightest way incorrect, certainly not illegal, and certainly not immoral. If you follow my principles, you will quietly and slowly and with some sense of assuredness have some wealth, possibly a lot of wealth, in 5 to 8 years. My philosophy, ladies and gentlemen, is if you're going to become wealthy in 5 to 8 years, you might as well have clean hands. My philosophy is that life is too long. If you do anything bad, it'll get back to you. My philosophy is that your reputation is worth more than anything, and if you start hurting people, it will get back to you worse than you will ever imagine. So I don't do anything in my life that if it were published around the world, I would be embarrassed about. I live by that motto that I'm happy to have everything I do broadcast around the world, and I want my graduates, the people who take my course, to live up to the same level of integrity. And the reason is that there are some things in my course that are so powerful that will give you so much insight into how to creatively negotiate that you will be head and shoulders above the people with whom you are negotiating. Consequently, if you use these ideas deceitfully, they are so powerful, you will be able to get away with things, and I don't want you to do that. I want you to realize that after having taken this course, you will have great power, and I encourage you and I beseech you, use that power with the same integrity that I do and that I want you to use.
RHH Consultants Limited recognize the need in Canada to clear up the misconceptions and false information being presented at some of the American real estate courses. You're invited to attend a free seminar on how to really make it in real estate in Canada. Can you really buy real estate with little or nothing down? Come find out the answers to this question and much more. You won't be disappointed. Hear Raymond Aaron in person at the following locations.
Tuesday, January 28th at the Chimo Hotel, Woodbine and Steele, 7:30 p.m. Wednesday, January 29th, Triumph Hotel, 2737 Keel Street, 7:30 p.m. Thursday, January 30th, Skyline Hotel, 655 Dixon Road, 7:30 p.m. These exciting free seminars on how to really make it in real estate will be presented by Raymond Aaron in person. No reservations are required. See your Toronto Star for further details.
Let me introduce you to a graduate. Uzi, can you come up, please? Uzi Zarm. He's a graduate of my course. Uzi is not a special graduate. He is not the best graduate I have ever had. I want you to know that I'm introducing you to a person whom I've gotten to know because I like him, and he's certainly not bought more properties than any of my other graduates. He's just an excellent example. How long ago did you take the course?
What's that, 4 or 5 months?
You took the course about 4 or 5 months ago. And how many properties had you bought before you took the course?
None.
None. And how many properties have you bought since taking the course?
3 properties and a business.
3 properties and a business. Now, this is very interesting. First of all, I don't teach how to buy businesses, but I constantly hear that people are able to use the techniques and the philosophies and skills of my course to do totally other, supposedly unrelated things. And did you get the 3 properties for nothing down?
No. They were all for under 4%.
Under 4% down payment. Good. Now, this is another important point. This course is not a nothing down course. Yes, about 4 hours of the 12 hours is devoted to nothing down, but the nothing down techniques are also low down payment techniques. And the other 8 hours of the course is devoted to many, many other very exciting and very important aspects of buying real estate. So what Uzi has done is use the skills that he learned in the course to buy real estate creatively, not necessarily nothing down, and he also used them to buy a business. Is there something you'd like to say about the course?
I think that for myself, the 2 most important things that I got out of it, 1 was obviously the knowledge that I didn't have before the course, and 2 was the push to actually, after acquiring the knowledge, to go out there and do it. Because that's, it's something that I found in the past. You learn something, and if you don't go that 1 extra step, it's worthless. And I tell you, when you sit down and you accumulate this knowledge, all of a sudden, properties that to one person may look black, look white to you. You see something in them that other people don't see, and you go after them. You do them in a creative way. It just opens a whole new avenue of purchasing. And I found that when I sat down with vendors at first, I was very, very nervous. It's not easy to put your signature on a piece of paper that you're committing to buy a piece of property, $150,000 or $100,000 or even $60,000. That is not easy. But if you have the knowledge, you can go 1 step further, and you know that what you're doing is correct. You know that this step is right, that step. I mean, I spent a lot of time on the phone with Mr. Aaron. A lot of time on the phone.
That's how I got to know him.
But only because at first I was a little nervous. But after I'd found my first property, after I was confident in it, I went out, I signed the papers, I bought the property. After then, it was addictive. There's no more fear.
Are you still going to buy properties?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. My pleasure. That's beautiful. Thank you. Did you hear something important in this program about real estate that you never knew before in your whole life? Yes or no? Yes. Yes. Did you hear something important today about what the masses do wrong over and over and over again so you can stop doing it that way? Yes. Yes. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, did you enjoy yourselves? Yes. Great.
Tuesday, January 28th at the Chimo Hotel, Woodbine and Steele, 7:30 p.m. Wednesday, January 29th, Triumph Hotel, 2737 Keel Street, 7:30 p.m. Thursday, January 30th, Skyline Hotel, 655 Dixon Road, 7:30 p.m. These exciting free seminars on how to really make it in real estate will be presented by Raymond Aaron in person. No reservations are required. See your Toronto Star for further details.